Hi guys, welcome back to TV Spoilers. Today I'm going to reveal to the audience a dramatic battle between mother and son, Phyllis and Daniel. The drama explodes when Daniel discovers Phyllis's sneaky actions, making him feel uneasy. He accuses Phyllis of putting Lily in danger. Daniel discovers that Phyllis's manipulative actions in the fight for control of Newman Enterprises were not only selfish but also directly put Lily Winters in even greater danger while she was being held captive by Victor. Feeling his mother had crossed that line, Daniel publicly breaks ties with Phyllis, declaring he cannot tolerate her putting personal gain above the safety of others. The real explosion doesn't start from a confrontation, but from a simmering unease within Daniel. A feeling difficult to name but tightening as he realizes every piece of the puzzle around him is shifting in a dangerous direction. As Genoa City was engulfed in new layers of tension, with Lily's growing increasingly ominous and Victor's shadow of power looming over every corner of the game, Daniel no longer saw things as mere business conflicts. Initially, he thought it was just another familiar cycle of ambition, manipulation, and those who believed they could control the consequences. But the more he observed, the more he connected the desperate details, the more chilling truth emerged. Phyllis's actions, seemingly strategic moves in the battle surrounding Newman Enterprises, were actually putting real pressure on one specific person, and that person was Lily. What hurt Daniel the most wasn't just the danger of Lily was facing, but the feeling that he had tried to convince himself that his mother had limits, that no matter how chaotic, impulsive, or extreme Phyllis was, she would still stop before directly harming the safety of others. The moment he realized that boundary had been blurred, he wasn't just disappointed. He felt a significant part of his faith crumble. Daniel's worry for Lily didn't stem from curiosity or an emotional reaction to the rumors. It came from an increasingly sharp intuition as he observed how those around him were reacting to Victor's name, to the unusual moments in the power struggle, and to the suspicious silences in the information related to Lily. The more people avoided speaking frankly, the more serious the situation seemed, more so than it appeared on the surface. He began to re-examine what had happened recently, not as an outsider observing, but as someone trying to prevent a moral catastrophe from engulfing what little remained of his family. He scrutinized Phyllis's every action, every untimely appearance, every unusually eager mention of Newman Enterprises, every way she steered the conversation in her own favor. What tormented him was that he knew his mother too well. He knew Phyllis was always adept at turning personal needs into something seemingly legitimate, always able to cloak ambition in the language of protection, justice, and the need to act before it was too late. Because he understood this, Daniel could no longer pretend that everything was just a coincidence. He saw the familiar pattern repeating itself, but this time the price was no longer fractured relationship or a business retaliation. This time, it was a person trapped in a dangerous situation, and the chaos Phyllis helped create had pushed things far beyond the point of being healed by mere justification. Daniel's investigation was quiet, yet it carried immense emotional weight. He didn't jump to conclusions immediately, understanding that if he were to confront his mother about this, he had to be absolutely certain. There was no room for misunderstanding, much less impulsive emotion. But each detail he uncovered added another layer of evidence to an already overwhelming fear. He saw how Phyllis's moves in the power struggle weren't just aimed at power itself, but were also intentionally or unintentionally increasing the pressure on those caught in Victor's eye. And when he pieced it all together, Daniel couldn't avoid the most painful conclusion. His mother was no longer merely surviving in a cruel game, but was becoming an active part of that cruelty. This feeling almost suffocated him, because it forced him to confront a choice he had long avoided. Either continue to protect the image of his mother in his heart and accept the consequences in silence, or sever ties with the very thing that had once defined a part of him in order to preserve the minimum moral standards he still believed in. Daniel had gone through too much pain with Phyllis to know that blind forgiveness was no longer familial love. It was merely a way to prolong the breakdown.